I want to say R.I.P. to my nigga Oj Simpson, man. R.I.P. to my nigga OJ, the Juice. He did pass away from a struggle with pancreatic cancer. I wanted to take the time first to shine a light on pancreatic cancer, and for black men, we're very more likely than any other race of men to get that. So as soon as you're able to get tested for that type of cancer, please do. Remain healthy, work out, and also just keep the positive vibes, because a lot of the way you feel is going to determine how long you live in this life as well. See your friends, tell your friends things, kiss your kids on the cheeks, go on that walk, do those things, because ultimately those things do matter. And I think looking at OJ's life, before I get into the jokes and all the funny shit that I'm going to get into, watching OJ's life, he was never able to fully express himself from a child, I would say, until maybe his 20s, being the token person. And I think that ate him up inside. He had family issues that ate him up inside, and he maybe didn't kiss his kids on the cheek enough. He didn't have enough friends to go and tell somebody. And maybe he had all that, but it wasn't real for him, you know? And so again, all those things, and maybe eating unhealthy and drugs, and, you know, you're just getting older. Again, black men, we're susceptible to having that as a fatal disease. So if you are African American, just please be wary, because stress is a big killer. Our diet and stress is a big killer, and those two things lead to diseases like that. So again, I want to say RIP to OJ Simpson. And also, if you are African American, man of color, be healthy, and you know, cherish your life, because it's important, and we only have one. From there, though, I want to go on to OJ and the New York Times and TMZ and all these people defaming his character, and he's already dead. Like, what do you get out of posting alleged murderer, acquitted murderer dies at age 76 or 72? He was acquitted. So what are we putting that within his title when he's dead? He died. Do you get what I'm saying? This is how shady the media is. And if you notice the differences in between how they do certain people, black and white. Look at how they're doing OJ. That shit is fucked up. I'm never going to say OJ did it. Ever. I don't give a fuck what you motherfuckers say on there. And the reason why I'm never going to say he did it is because he was not guilty in a court of law. Point blank, period. There's a million times you see a whole bunch of other motherfuckers do a whole bunch of other shit, and they're let off. It's not proven in a court of law. Therefore, they're not guilty. Get the fuck over it. That's my vibes. They could not prove that he was guilty. I'm from a younger generation, so we grew up only knowing OJ for the murder. We didn't really know OJ for being the Juice. And we also didn't know some things that I've came to know in the recent years that I've been growing up. There's a lot of stories, too, surrounding Nicole, unfortunately, and her drug addiction, and the people she dealt with, and how they were connected to possible cartels, and even her murder, and how she was cut from ear to ear with the tongue hanging out. And how will OJ be able to do all of that and then catch a flight in 25 minutes without waking anybody up? And then what about the report from the lady who lived in the Brentwood area that said she saw 4 people running from the house? What about it? Now, I'm not saying all this to say that OJ's not abusive. I think most powerful men are. They're controlling, they're abusive, they're narcissistic because they're able to. This world of capitalism, once you have money, you have the world at your fingertips, and nobody's going to tell you no. So I'm never going to deny that he maybe was abusive, manipulative, a psycho, a maniac, whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's a murderer. It just does not mean that. And there's no way to prove it. All the things I just said, not to mention there's racist cops that are on recording admitting that they're racist cops that plant evidence. Not to mention within the civil suit, they never really mentioned that OJ murdered anybody. There's so many things that just make it to where, how could you guys be mad that he got acquitted for it? How could you be mad? The glove didn't fit. All those things. How could you be mad that he got off? How? when you have seen other people do other atrocities to younger victims, it's been somewhat recorded and they've gotten off and nobody says a fucking thing. There's rumors about Nicole and something called a Brentwood Hello. She was giving favors to niggas in the neighborhood. There's multiple reports on all of these things. There's multiple resources you can go and look at this information. But all of this was pushed away. Why? Why? Again, I'm not saying bro wasn't an abuser. I'm not saying he didn't beat her the fuck up, because I think he did. And again, I think that is due to a lot of things he dealt with as a child that he was never able to express because he had to be USC's token boy. That is the craziest thing to me, because OJ's life is like what people also don't think about the black experience in white America, is that you're cherished so much that you're still really just a prop, right? You're just a performer. That's all he ever was. He was secluded from what was going on in black America. And quite frankly, he wanted to be, obviously, because he wanted to just be OJ. So there's a lot going on with him that makes him a terrible person, but I just don't think the evidence shows that he's a murderer. I just don't, especially when the people that they were dealing with, Nicole was dealing with, they got murdered prior to Nicole or after Nicole, one or the other, the same exact way. OJ not doing that. I just don't think OJ doing that, bro. I'm sorry. Hate me for it. But where are you going to tell me that he was able to pull that off? Just where? I don't know. I have no idea. But I think his story is very tragic. I think, and again, it's very unfortunate that that woman lost her life and that man lost his life as well. But you're not going to make me believe that he did that. It's just not enough evidence to show that he did it. It's not. I think I have some more on OJ, but let me just find it. Let's see. Oh. That's fucked up to bring up, but fuck it. Not to mention, the reason why I'm saying Nicole obviously has a grimy past and you never know what she was involved in. And yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring up her relationships. She was fucking around with bro's best homie that was on USC as well. So he was cheating, of course. Was he abusing? Of course. Was he being manipulative? Of course. Most powerful, successful men are. Right? But men lie. Women lie too, though. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of the stories prove that women lie too, though. So when you're out here thinking that she is just this battered woman, while she may be to a certain degree, everybody has a stake of accountability in every situation. Y'all might not want to believe it because she has blonde hair and blue eyes, though. That's the fact of the matter. Y'all don't want to believe it because she got blonde hair and blue eyes. She was fucking around with niggas' best friends. She was in clubs fucking with niggas. She had the Brentwood Hello again. So she's not innocent. And I'm not saying that that doesn't mean that, hey, maybe he did murder her. He didn't get caught for it. But it just also shows that not everything is what you see. And maybe let's take a deeper look at what it really was before we just say, hey, it was 100% OJ. And it's funny, right? Because how the media bashes them, because you think if this was Drew Brees or Peyton Manning and 35 years ago, they got in a sticky situation where they weren't there and their wife ends up dead and they get acquitted for murder. You think when they pass away, we're going to be putting their Netflix 30 for 30 or their 30 for 30 on Netflix and putting it to the top of the algorithm? Or are we going to be putting their greatest highlights? Which one would we be putting if it was Drew Brees or Peyton Manning? Which one would we be putting if they got acquitted for 30 years ago, acquitted for murder 30 years ago and they passed away today? What would we be putting for them? What would we be remembering them by? It damn sure wouldn't be that murder. I could tell you that. Just wouldn't be. But this is what white America does. That's why I wish if we could turn back the hands of time, OJ could stand up for what's right and pick. Because I also think that when you watch his 30 for 30, you see that OJ is very, what's the word for it? Pivotal in black athletes and what they do from that point after. Because during his time, you have, people doing the Black Power sign during the Olympics. You have all black athletes saying we're going to opt out of the Olympics. You have people taking a stand in colleges like San Jose and UC Berkeley, and all these different things are going on because due to politics and the injustices of black people. So in that time, there wasn't really an athlete that was saying, I'm going to just shut up and dribble. You wasn't having that. OJ was really one of the first niggas that came out and said, you know what? I'm going to go get the $1 million deal with Hertz, with Chevy. I'm going to go be on ABC. And all that other shit, I'm going to turn a blind eye to it because I'm going to get this bread and I'm going to be a brand and I'm going to be OJ. Once he did that, that was so pivotal because look at what you really see today. How many black athletes or people do you see today really taking a stand for their people? They don't. And I could argue that OJ was very pivotal in that decision for a lot of people because they can always go back and say, well, look at OJ. And another thing that they can say is that's the only nigga to kill a white woman and get away with it. And why is that? Because ultimately the life he chose to live and the image he chose to portray. As fucked up as it is, nobody's seen OJ as black. They seen him as OJ. And that's why he was able to get off if he did murder her, in fact. So I think while black people look at that and they go, ugh, you Uncle Tom, you coon ass nigga. It's like, if some of us have the chance, we're going to take that route. Because that's immunity from what most of us don't have within our culture. That's just what it is. And that's what he had, which is rare as fuck. It's rare. So I think he was pivotal in the decision that black athletes make when it comes to being for their people or being for their bag. I really, really do. Again, shout out to OJ. RIP to OJ. If you're watching this, thank you for the love, the hate, it's all support. This is disorderly conduct, man. I'm clocking out for the day. I'll see you guys again. I don't know where you're going, but you got to get the hell up out of here.